Kia ora, I'm David Chester with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week at Everything You Need to Know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock. With news, the US expansion rolls on, pushing back the timing of when interest rate normalisation will happen. US CPI inflation came in lower than expected for May, slowing to 3.3%, the lowest in 3 months. In April it was 3.4% and forecast for May were 3.4%. While this rise was lower than the past 3 months, it is a higher rate than the October to February period, and it is above the Fed's target. Then, the US Federal Reserve kept the federal funds rate unchanged as expected. Still, the Fed officials projected only 1 interest rate cut this year and 4 in 2025. While all this was going on, US mortgage applications surged almost 16% in the first week of June, the sharpest weekly increase since January 2023. And India's industrial production rose 5% in April from a year ago, little change from the recent growth levels. The heady rises of late 2023 seem to be past them now, with a more orderly expansion in play. And India's CPI inflation eased to 4.7% in May from 4.6% in April. But food price inflation hardly changed at 8.7%, a worrying sign for them. China's CPI rate fell 0.1% in May from April to be just 0.3% higher than a year ago. Observers were expecting a stronger price gain than that, although not by much more. Low demand seems to be keeping prices close to deflation now. Meanwhile, producer prices in China are still languishing in deflation, but less so. They were down 2.5% in April from a year ago, but only 1.4% lower in May. Meanwhile, Japanese producer price inflation is rising, up 2.4% in May from a year ago, a 9-month high. And the EU has decided to hit electric vehicle imports from China with new anti-dumping tariffs, taking them to almost 50% for some models. The concerns about the impact of Chinese overcapacity are now spreading globally. As you might expect, China isn't happy with this move. The US Treasury 10-year yield is now at 4.30% and down 10 basis points from yesterday. And the price of gold will start today up $16 at $2,329 an ounce. And oil prices are up 50 cents at $78 a barrel in the US, while the international Brent price is just over $82 a barrel now. However, whether these levels will remain up seems uncertain. The world faces a staggering oil glut by the end of the decade, the IEA warned overnight. And the Kiwi dollar starts today a half a cent firmer at just over 61.9 US cents and jerked around by the two big US forces. Against the Aussie, we're slightly softer at 92.8 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're little change to 57.3 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today at just on 71.2 and up another net 20 basis points from yesterday. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston, and we'll do this again tomorrow.